What's up everyone, welcome back to Miami Miles. My name's Mickey. In today's video, we are collecting the replacement to the 4.5 liter demand car. As you've seen from the thumbnail, introducing my brand new Ferrari 4.5L Italia. So you're probably asking yourself, why the Ferrari 4.5L? And to be honest, I'm just as shocked as you are. It took me going up to Chicago to the Ferrari dealership to see this car nestled between the 488 and the F8. The moment I laid eyes on it, I fell in love. Because honestly, guys, I'm accustomed to seeing 4.5.8s that are worn down. They've got a bunch of miles that have been abused by their previous owners, but this car is perfection. Not one single imperfection on the narrow paint. And then when you open the door, you see what is perhaps one of the most beautiful interiors in history with that quilted red leather, the perfect spec for Miami. Now, when I saw this car, I picked up my phone, called my wife, and I said, we have to have it. But that meant I had to sell one of my three cars. It either had to be the GT3, the 3RS, or the 4RS, and the first casualty was the demand GT3. The question is, was that the right decision? Did I make a critical mistake in giving that car to Zweck on consignment to purchase this? I guess today we're gonna find out. I just wanted something that was Italian, that was sleek, that was sexy, that was exotic. I was kind of done with purchasing a bunch of Porsches, and even though it's sad that that car has to go, I think I'm really gonna love this. But I guess, guys, let's jump in the inside to show you what sold me on the car, and then go for our very first drive where we actually take this on the highway, rip it to 9,000, and hopefully, I mean, please extract a smile from my face, because I really want to feel like this was a great purchase. Here we are from the angle of the car that absolutely sold me. It's $25,000 interior with these red seats, beautiful quilted leather up here in the roof, black piping running down the sides of the seats, the legendary carbon fiber steering wheel from Ferrari. Ironically, the only carbon option that this car has, it's not that heavy of a sticker. This car was $291,000, but whoever spec'd it did such a brilliant job. Now guys, the day I purchased this car, the day I made the decision to consign my 4.5 liter GT3, I drove this 488 F8. The 488 and F8 were so stupidly fast, but overall those cars reminded me more of a 720S than of a Ferrari. Now, I consigned my GT3, we took delivery of this, and I was so fortunate because Uncle Pete fitted it with a valve controller. My biggest complaint of this car when I drove it was that it was quiet. And here we are with the valve shut, nothing. But you just have to press this little button. You hear how the tone gets exponentially more bassy? Listen to this. Bro, that is sick. That is sick. Now, I've already taken this car a couple times to 9,000. Let me quiet it up. And it's pretty special, but I haven't yet gone through all the gears, so let's go for a drive and do just that. So before I continue, this video is brought to you by Faster Media, my production company. I bought a piece of Faster Media because they help me tremendously in my YouTube channel and in my business, Lace Up Solutions. It got to the point that we were getting so many leads calling and filling our forms on the internet that our business scaled from 5 employees to 50 in just a few short years. If you're interested in this for your business or for your own social presence, there's a link down below. Fill out your information and Faster Media will get back to you. Anyways, back to the video. So here we are in the 4.5L. I'm currently in sport, bumpy road mode turned on, valve shut, and the car is ridiculously comfortable. You don't even get the slightest hint of resonance coming into the cabin. And what's nutty is that you're driving a $300,000 sticker Ferrari. It just feels like a car that you can daily drive. Now I'm going to showcase over this shitty road next to the booby trap just how well it handles this type of thing. Like, these are some pretty serious bumps, and I took both my 765 and my 600 LT over these same roads. And to be honest, this is just as comfortable as the 765. And I think the older I get, the more important it becomes for a car to be comfortable and manageable over a very shitty road. And at no point are you at fear for the ground clearance in front, because this car actually has a generous amount of ground clearance. Dude, I don't even feel any bumps, and I don't hear any of that engine sound. So thank you, Uncle Pete, for fitting this incredible valve controller to the car. But as we arrive to the end of this street, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the valves. The moment I do so, listen to this. You hear right away the exhaust coming into the cabin and starting to inject the cabin with a bit of fizz. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the Manatino to race, as you see there, and I'm gonna put the car in manual. So I've just removed auto, hopefully giving me a bit more control. And right away you notice just how reactive this DCT transmission is. The moment I hit the paddle, it executes both upshifts and downshifts, and it puts to shame almost every transmission of the time. Now, for those of you that don't remember, when this car came out, over those rough bumps like it's nothing. When this car came out, it was the first supercar to fit a dual clutch transmission to a V8 in this manner. And it's unbelievable. That was 3 downshifts like nothing around this bend. I'm gonna hit it just a little bit and give you my impressions. 9,000. Yo, this car is scary fast. I can't go too crazy on this road here. We'll go on the highway in a minute and I'll really do some pulls for you. But what you notice is just how much torque this engine has for 4.5 liters and no turbos. And as a matter of fact, when I drove both the 488 and the F8, I was underwhelmed with the emotion of the engine. Those engines are so fast, they spool up those turbos so quickly that you get this shove of torque and this punch to your stomach, but you don't get this. And I know some reviewers have said how flat the 4.5L V8 sounds, but it's not flat at all. It provides such a symphony with the windows shut in its stock exhaust configuration with the valves open that you are just blown away. Guys, my breath is taken away. Now, we just went through those little set of curves as well, and you notice just how planted the car is and how reactive this super quick steering rack is. But overall, this engine pulls to redline like a freight train, and a proof of evidence and some context for you guys that you can use as proof. This car per Pete was much faster 60 to 130 than a 4RS with an exhaust, and that by all accounts is a very quick car. And when they quarter miled this car back when it was released, Motor Trend did like a 10.9 at 134 miles an hour, and driving it today, I have no doubt that this car traps over 130 miles an hour in the right conditions, which for a naturally aspirated car that weighs 3,450 pounds is insane. So I'm gonna go onto the highway now and really experience this V8. I have this semi-truck in front of me, but who cares? All right, under the famed overpass, let's see how it sounds. It just sounds unbelievable. You want a car that sounds underwhelming? Buy a F8. You want something that sounds like a V8 Symphony? You buy a 4.5L and you unleash it to 9,000. That transmission is ridiculous, guys. All right, as we come onto this crest, onto the brakes. Carbon ceramics aren't quite as efficient as modern ceramics. Nonetheless, the car comes to a stop exceptionally well. But at this point, you guys probably want me to address the elephant in the room. How does this compare to the Demand 4.5 liter? Well, honestly, I feel like the Demand has a bit more torque. It's a bit crazier and more manic on its way to its 9,000 RPM redline. 9,000! Nothing a full exhaust can't resolve in this car, but as an overall package at $230,000 to $250,000, I believe that this car is the better proposition given my personal garage. If I could have one car, I'd have the Demand. If I could have two cars, I'd have my 997 RS and I'd have this. Much more well-rounded garage, hell of a purchase. And Ferrari, you hit it out of the park with this masterpiece. Unbelievable car, guys. Anyways, if you enjoyed that video, go down below, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe. I can't wait to compare this to my 4RS, to my 3RS. And sneak preview, I'm gonna start a little tournament series where I compare every car against one another and rank my personal favorites. That's coming soon. If you're looking forward to that, like, subscribe, comment, all that shit. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Peace.